Hi everyone. It is me, Sailor Moon, Serena here. And it's me, Tuxedo Mask, Evening Wear High, Darian here. And today we're going to talk about, you know, gatekeeping in the Sailor Moon followership. Is it a thing or is it not a thing? And for those who already watched this film and don't want to hear us talk about it again, you can go watch some other film. So, anyway, sorry, can't never get ourselves straight. And I always look far away. So, anyway, is gatekeeping a thing in the Sailor Moon followership? Well, first off, I would like to say yes and no. And it hasn't really been all that much, you know. So we haven't dealt with it that much in a Sailor Moon followership. But let's talk about what gatekeeping is. Gatekeeping is when someone tells someone what they can or cannot do when it comes to liking something or doing something in some kind of followership. You know, there might be folks in the Sailor Moon followership who say, "Oh, there's not a Sailor Earth, so you can't do a Sailor Earth." Or there might be folks in a Sailor Moon followership whom need be believe you, that, well, you should follow only women or girls should be sailor fighter oversight, things like that. Now, when DUANE first started, there wasn't as much of it, and there was little to none. Yes, there were bullies, yes, there were trolls, but to say that they were from the followership, that was a whole other thing. Now, the gatekeeping may have, came in way. The only gatekeeping that ever happened was when DUANE said that he liked the Geek Sailor Moon. And at the time, besides the Pioneer Glee Sailor Moon or Pathfinder Glee Sailor Moon, that was the only English take you had. You didn't have any others. I mean, Viz wouldn't get the right to work with Sailor Moon until years later. So at that time, that was the only offshoot of Sailor Moon there was. And when DUANE said he liked it, there were some folks who thought that, oh, well, you're wrong, for, liking the Deekly Sailor Moon. And then, and then there would be some folks, we're not going to say any names or handles or anything like that, who, make a big deal. Like one time, it must have been on X sometime last year, that said, stop saying those names. Say the right names. And that was far as it went. And sorry for all this clearing of the throat. There's not really much we can do about it, Well, I guess you are right about it, Sailor Moon. I mean, Serena. At the end of the day, that was as far as the gatekeeping went. I mean, yeah, someone did make a big deal about Ernest P. Worrell being Sailor Earth, I think, in 2011 or 2012, whatever it was. Could have been even in 2010. Well, I don't know. Someone who made a big deal about and said that, would get angered if you said anything bad, or would get angered or irked if they thought you said anything bad about the Toei Sailor Moon, which we never said anything bad about. We didn't. It was, we never said anything bad about it. And they would say things like, oh, you want me to unfollow you if you keep on making films like this? Yeah, and then they made a big thing about it. So, yeah, but beyond that, there really wasn't any, gatekeeping in the Sailor Moon followership. Thank God there wasn't that much of it. But some folks, maybe there is. Yes, there most likely are some folks who may have liked something longer than someone else. They might know more things than someone else knows as far as it goes, as far as Sailor Moon goes. And I don't really care if someone has liked it from between 95 while an hour or whatever, you know. And they will say, "Oh, you don't know anything. You need to learn about this, learn about that." Now that was as far as the gatekeeping went, you know. There may have been some other folks and saying that, "Oh, our take on Sailor Moon was wrong," or we were besmirching the show by shifting some things. Not shifting some things, but I guess offshooting, going and doing things with it that the crafters and makers never went with it. What Toei never did with it, or what Naiko Takeuchi never did with it, or whatever. And that would make some of these folks irked or angered. But oh well. It is what it is. So anyway, yeah, there was some gatekeeping in the Sailor Moon followership. And it would mostly come from, saying you like the Deep Glee Sailor Moon, which that was the one DUANE grew up on, the one he saw from time to time when he was younger, and the one when he thinks of Sailor Moon, that's the one he thinks of, And yes, his take on Sailor Moon might not be the same take as everyone else's. It might not be the Toei's take. Hell, it might not be Naiko Takeuchi or Takeuchi, however you Takeuchi's take either. You know? Yeah, you're right, Tuxedo Mask. You're right, Evening Warehide. You're right, Darian. Why, and before we end this film, why would someone gatekeep someone? I don't know. Thinking that they don't have the right to be in a followership, or thinking they don't know enough about it, or thinking they haven't liked it or followed it enough, or whatever the grounds is that they might think they have to do it. It's not the same thing as being bullied or trolled. That's something else. But gatekeeping can be a kind of bullying, in that way, because it making folks think that they have the right to tell you what you can and cannot do as far as Sailor Moon goes. Like we made Ernest as Sailor Earth, and yes, some liked it, some didn't like it. And yes, we did choose to like the Glee Sailor Moon. And some folks like it, some folks don't like it. That's their business, whatever. And folks getting irked and angered over that, well, sadly, that cannot be helped. But at the end of the day, even though DUANE may have not been into Sailor Moon as long as everyone else has, he does know as much about it as everyone else does. So, no, the gatekeeping that did happen on Euro, or the gatekeeping that did happen on X, there was no need for it. So, that's our last thought on that. Alright, yeah, our last thought on that. So, give this film a like, share it and playlist it, and we'll see you later.